Representative. Representative. What am I calling about? Bald spots. Noticeable bald spots. Is my issue getting worse? Well, if it wasn't getting any worse, I wouldn't be calling you. So yes. Yes, it is. Sure. Give me a list of products. I don't know which of those products are best. That's why I'm calling you. Look, I just need some help fixing some bald spots. It's so hard to have people help you out trying to figure out what's best nowadays, especially over the phone. One thing that should be a little bit easier are some fantasy football rankings. They got the top 50 players right now. No, I'm still here. What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. Today we're talking about our top 50 overall players for 2020 fantasy football. But a quick side note here, all right? When we go through these rankings, it's kind of as if I was drafting as of right now. And we've talked about on this channel for weeks, for months, for years, we like heavy running backs early. So you're going to see that a lot of the wide receivers may be a few spots lower than they maybe should be compared to the expert consensus rankings. I may have them a little bit lower, and that's because I want those running backs early. But also, do not forget, I get a lot of people down in the comment section when we do ranking shows that they don't agree with something. I understand that, and if we did agree on every single ranking, there would be no purpose in you watching anybody else's videos. That's not what the purpose of this is. This is to gain perspective. This is a quick outlook on a certain player and as to why I have them somewhere. You may disagree, and that is 100% okay. That doesn't mean that you're wrong. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong. The season hasn't been played yet, but what we can do is work together as a team, as a community, and put together the best damn rankings that we can so we all go out there and dominate fantasy football for 2020. That's what it's all about. That's what we're trying to accomplish here this year. So let's work together. Let's build the best rankings we can as a community and absolutely go out there and shock the world and just win up every damn trophy that we possibly can. So if you're with me, let's head over to the rankings. Let's check out the top 10 here right now. All right, number one is going to be Christian McCaffrey, Carolina Panthers, and there's a lot of questions surrounding this offense this offseason, right? New coaching staff. We got a new quarterback with Teddy Bridgewater. How is that going to affect the play calling, the usage of Christian McCaffrey? Well, he's still going to be heavily utilized in this offense, and with his involvement in the passing game, really gives him that safe floor. His ceiling, we've seen it before. It's huge, and it could be there once again. One of the biggest knocks on Teddy Bridgewater is he doesn't throw the ball deep down the field, and he really hasn't. He hasn't really been given the opportunity really much, but he does have Robbie Anderson. We got DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel there now. There's options in the passing game, but Christian McCaffrey is going to be used on a weekly basis and targeted heavily in the passing game. I got him at number one still. Number two, Saquon Barkley. A lot of people have Saquon Barkley at number one, and I don't hate that one bit. Not at all. Why? He's in an offense where plays are being called by Jason Garrett, and if we know anything about that, that means he's going to heavily utilize the workhorse running backs, which Saquon Barkley is. He could get close to 350 touches this year, and with that type of volume, it's a no-brainer to have him that high in the rankings. Number three, Ezekiel Elliott. Now, he may be the safest of the bunch. You kind of know what you're going to get with Zeke, right? He's going to come in there. Even though there's a new coaching staff, they're going to utilize him heavily on the ground. They have a lot of options in the passing game, though, with Cooper, Lamb, and Gallup. How do they utilize Tony Pollard this year? That's another question mark in that offense, but Zeke has had the Rona. You know he's going to touch the ball a lot, and he's a safe pick for you. Got him right here at number three. Number four, this is where I got Alvin Kamara, and I do believe that the bounce back is in place for Alvin Kamara here in 2020. This offense in New Orleans is just too good, and a lot of people want to kind of forget that last year, Alvin Kamara was not 100% healthy, and the guy still put up decent fantasy football numbers with basically one leg. He's fully healthy now in an offense that's going to utilize him heavily. We know that Michael Thomas is going to see a lot of targets in the passing game. The newly added Emmanuel Sanders is only going to help open things up more For Alvin Kamara underneath, sure, Latavius Murray is going to be involved, but Mark Ingram was involved here in the past, and it didn't seem to hurt Kamara too much. I got him for a bounce back right here, number 4. Number 5, I got my boy Nick Chubb, and a lot of people don't agree with having him this high because of Kareem Hunt. Well, I've broken him down in depth in a must-have running back video. If you haven't checked it out yet, head over to the channel after this video is over. I went in depth with how both Chubb and Hunt could both feast in fantasy football here this year. Number 6 is Josh Jacobs of the Las Vegas Raiders, and I'm still on this bandwagon, and I'm going to stay on this bandwagon. I was not a huge fan of Josh Jacobs last year, his first year in the league. I said, hey, listen, this guy hasn't been tested with volume really. I have to see it to believe it. Well, yeah, sure, he couldn't make it all 16 games, without an injury last year, but he's fully healthy this year, and he proved that he could still go out there and get you 225 plus touches. Any involvement in the passing game is only going to be a plus for him this year, and I do expect that to happen. I got Josh Jacobs at number 6. Number 7, Derrick Henry. Volume. Yeah, even though these are half PPR rankings, he's still going to see so much volume on the ground, it'll make up for it, right? Kind of like it has in the past. The loss of Jack Conklin on the offensive line, the possible, continued resurgence of an A.J. Brown and Ryan Tannehill, maybe in the passing game. Maybe they get Corey Davis finally going. Adam Humphries is a name a lot of people want to forget about. What about Jonnu Smith? All that's, got to happen. It's going to take away touches from Derrick Henry. However, the volume will still be there. He's still a candidate to get close to 300 total touches, which you can't, really find too many people to get that. So he's definitely somebody on my board up here high. I got him at number 7. Number 8, I have Kenyon Drake. And a lot of people are going to think that this is absolutely bonkers that I have Kenyon Drake ahead of Michael Thomas. But I talked about it earlier, right? I really want running backs early. I have to have running backs early this year in fantasy football. They just run out so quickly. Now, Kenyon Drake, I did a video on him not that long ago. Actually, the same video that I mentioned with Nick Chubb. So if you want to check it out more in depth, head over there and check it out. But if you take the numbers of David Johnson, Chase Edmonds, and Kenyon Drake during their weeks that they started at running back for the Arizona Cardinals, they would have been running back 3 overall. This is just a type of offense in Arizona that spreads the field out so much with 4 wide receiver sets and crossing patterns across the field. It opens up running lanes all over the place. It doesn't really matter who's back there. As long as they can run fast, which Kenyon Drake can, they're going to put up solid points in the fantasy game. That's what we're looking for. Remember, we're not trying to find who's the best skilled running back, because maybe there's some other guys that may be higher skill-wise than Kenyon Drake. But as far as fantasy points go, dude could be in line for a huge season. I don't want to miss out on it. I got him at number 8. Number 9 is Michael Thomas, New Orleans Saints, and a lot of people probably looking at this and going, this guy doesn't even watch football. Does he even know who Michael Thomas is? No, I've never watched football in my life. I just totally wing all of this stuff. But this is fantasy football we're talking about, and I want those running backs early. How many times do I need to say that? And Michael Thomas, even though he's at the wide receiver position, I won't completely pass on it. At some point, it becomes like a line that you got to cross. Like, all right, this is where I'm going to take him. For me, it's right here at number 9. Yes, he'll be among the league leaders in receptions, in yardage, possibly in touchdowns for the wide receiver position. He could get close to last year's numbers, but I see a little bit of a regression there because of the addition of Emmanuel Sanders. And now we have a healthy Alvin Kamara. He may not, see those ridiculous receiving numbers we saw last year, but still solid high-end wide receiver. He's my wide receiver 1. I got him right here at number 9. Number 10, Austin Eckler. Another guy that a lot of people just want to sleep on, and they want to use the argument that everybody says but nobody researches. It's that, the only reason he's been good in his career is because Phillip Rivers can't throw the ball anymore and he just checks down. No, that's not the case. If you go back and actually look, Austin Eckler is a solid running back and one of the most efficient running backs in all of the NFL. His efficiency, if you were to up the touches for a season-long basis, this dude could be one of this year's Aaron Jones, and you're going to get him cheap. As you can tell right there, against the expert consensus, I have him 12 spots higher. They have him at 22, which is ridiculous. Austin Eckler is going to go out there and be involved in the passing game and the running game. Is he going to be a 300 carry guy? Nope, he's not. But he doesn't need to be. He's so efficient. If you can go out there and get him 16 touches a week, this guy could absolutely carry your fantasy football team. I got him at number 10. Number 11, I got Dalvin Cook, Minnesota Vikings. A lot of controversy going back and forth. Is he going to report? Is he not going to report? Honestly, Doesn't really affect my rankings too much as of yet. Now, obviously, if this drags on into mid-August, he may slip a couple spots lower. Yes, the talent is there. Obviously, they're going to be a run-first team still there. They have Adam Thielen and a rookie in Justin Jefferson. However, I do expect Irv Smith Jr. to kind of take a step forward in that offense this year. Dalvin Cook is still a solid running back one. I have him just a few spots lower than everybody else, and I'm kind of tempering expectations until we know for sure that he's there in camp. Number 12, Miles Sanders. I have him 6 spots higher than the consensus, and I don't even know if I have him high enough. As of right now, there's really no competition for carries, and a great opportunity for him there in Philadelphia behind a great offensive line, and it's really going to give him the opportunity to go out there and be an RB1 for somebody here this year, and you're getting him at a great price, more than likely in the second round. The ability for him to play all 3 downs, his involvement in the passing game, his pass catching ability is very underrated. Love Miles Sanders. He's going to be coming up in a video here pretty soon that you don't want to miss out. Number 13, Devante Adams of the Green Bay Packers. Targets. Who else is going to get targets in Green Bay? It's going to be Devante Adams because we know it's not going to be Funchess, and it may be Allen Lazard to a point. However, Devante Adams is going to be the main guy there for Aaron Rodgers, and volume alone, I have him 5 spots lower than the consensus because why? We want running backs, but I still think he has that ability to go out there and challenge for the top wide receiver spot here in 2020. Got him at 13. Number 14, a guy who's going to be right behind him. It's Julio Jones, and I've mentioned in numerous videos at this point, and I'm not going to keep on mentioning it. I love that division. If you are a wide receiver that plays for the Falcons, the Saints, the Bucks, maybe not the Panthers, but at least the other 3 teams, I am targeting you on draft day because I expect a lot of offense in that division to the point to where they're throwing it all 4 quarters, and they're going to be playing each other numerous times every season. So this is going to be a great matchup. Julio Jones is somebody you kind of know what you're going to get, right? He's going to go out there and get you close to 1,400 yards and 6 to 8 touchdowns. This could be the year, though, that Julio goes ham and gets you some double-digit touchdowns. I wouldn't want to miss out on it. Got him at 14 overall. Number 15, Tyreek Hill. Now, I've been watching a lot of video on Tyreek Hill this offseason. The guy's really, improving on his route running. We already know about the elite speed, but now this is the year that the separation numbers could take a little bit of a leap. This guy's speed is great. His footwork is improved, and his route tree is improving. Add that to the fact that he's there with Patrick Mahomes, and yes, I do like Mecole Hardman to take a step forward, but he's not going to challenge to be the number 1 wide receiver. Yeah, they got Travis Kelsey there, but we've seen Tyreek Hill as a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy football alongside of a Travis Kelsey before. It's not out of the question. Having Tyreek Hill down here at 15 would be an absolute steal, but like I said, we still want the running backs. Now, number 16, it's a running back. It's Joe Mixon, and this is a little bit low. Looking at the rankings, he may end up creeping his way up just a few spots because he is going to be a workhorse running back, right? He's going to get a lot of touches. The reason I had him a little bit lower in my rankings than a lot of other people do, Kyle included, is there's more options in Cincinnati this year, right? We have a healthy A.J. Green. We got Tyler Boyd. We got T. Higgins. Now we got, Joe Mixon in the backfield. We got Joe Burrow, a rookie quarterback who a lot of people are expecting big things from, but we just don't know. The offensive line is slightly improved. I like Joe Mixon. I would prefer to have Joe Mixon in the second round if possible. He probably won't fall there in very many drafts. There's just a lot more question marks there for me. Still love the talent. Still love the opportunity this year. I've just limited expectations a little bit. Got him number 16. Number 17, Kenny Gallaudet, wide receiver, Detroit Lions, and one of my highest ranked wide receivers here this year because this could be the year that Kenny Gallaudet absolutely exploded. The guy produced fantasy football numbers with a quarterback whose last name was Blow. Now we're going to give him Matthew Stafford, who's now healthy, and before he went out with a back injury last year, was an MVP candidate. If he can stay healthy once again, we're looking for huge numbers for Kenny Gallaudet, and you can get him at a great price this year. He could definitely be among the league leaders at the wide receiver position. I got him at 17. Number 18, Chris Godwin. A lot of people want to put Godwin higher than Gallaudet, and I get it. I understand it. I think it's just a lot of assumption at this point, right? Everybody is assuming that Chris Godwin is going to be the guy in Tampa Bay, and I can see it 100%. I think that's an absolute possibility. But why not Mike Evans? Why not a lot more touchdown upside towards Gronk or an O.J. Howard? It's not just Chris Godwin. There's other options there in that offense, and that's the only reason why I have him where he is. I believe he's my wide receiver 6 overall, so it's not like he's like crazy low. I have him 2 spots lower than the consensus does, but he is definitely somebody who has the talent. I've been talking about Chris Godwin for years. Leave a comment down below in the comment section if you remember the video that I said that Chris Godwin would outscore Mike Evans, because I said that like 2 or 3 years ago and people damn near imploded on me. Well, here we go. Chris Godwin has arrived. He's a great option. I just got him a couple spots lower than the consensus. Number 19, Juju Smith-Schuster. This is entirely dependent on the health of one Big Ben. If Big Ben is not healthy, Juju will fall. Now, until I see Big Ben not healthy, the only videos I've seen of him throwing are kind of like slow motion wise. Let's see, how he reacts here to camp in just a few weeks. If he is healthy, Juju's in a great spot and he's a bargain on draft day. If there's any question marks whatsoever about Big Ben, I'm going to drop Juju at that time. Number 20, this is our first tight end, Travis Kelsey of the Kansas City Chiefs. I got him 3 spots lower than the consensus, but really only because I like the guys that much more ahead of him. I still think he's in line to be the number 1 tight end here in 2020. Volume is going to be there in a high-passing offense with arguably the best pocket passer in the NFL and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, there's not much you can say negative about Travis Kelsey and his involvement. He's basically a wide receiver at the tight end position. Nothing to say about Travis Kelsey there. So let's move on to the next slide. All right, number 21, Deandre Hopkins, got him 8 spots lower than the consensus does. And let's be realistic. I'm an Arizona Cardinals fan. I was born and raised in Arizona. I love the Cardinals. I'm always rooting for the Cardinals, but I'm not a homer and I'm not going to put that bias into videos. I think DeAndre Hopkins has an opportunity to regress this year, and it's only due to volume, right? He has been force-fed targets in Houston for years. Now, the way they spread the ball around in an air raid offense in Arizona, he may not be force-fed target. You still have Christian Kirk. You still have Larry Fitzgerald. We've talked about Kenyon Drake in the backfield before. I think Hopkins is still a wide receiver 1 this year. However, he may not just be the wide receiver 1, and I'm going to temper expectations a little bit. I think he helps them win football games. I don't know if he excels from a fantasy football perspective, though. There's a difference there, so I got him at 21. 22, George Kittle, my number 2 tight end, and he's somebody we kind of know what to expect also, right? I mean, he's going to be highly involved in that offense. What's the health of Deebo Samuel? If Deebo Samuel isn't 100% healthy, that could bump up some targets for one George Kittle. I have him 2 spots lower than consensus, but I mean, honestly, we're neck and neck right there. George Kittle, I have nothing negative to say about. If you can grab him, late second, if all your running backs that you're targeting are gone, maybe Kelsey's already gone too, I get it. However, I probably won't own a whole lot of Kittle or Kelsey because that's the point where I'm loading up on running backs. It all depends on your draft, though, and who's left on the board when you're on the clock. 23, Todd Gurley, Atlanta Falcons. A lot of people still not bought into Gurley. They still want to talk about the arthritis. And I get it. The arthritis is a real thing. However, did you notice it hampering his play at all last year? I didn't, really. I mean, he looked fine on film whenever I watched him. They kind of held him back the first half of the year to really unleash him second half of the year. But, I mean, he looked fine when he was on tape. Now he goes to the Falcons in a style of offense that really suits his skill set. He can catch balls out of the backfield. He can run between the tackles. He's going to have the goal line work. I love the bounce back opportunity for Todd Gurley. I have him 7 spots higher because I don't really want to miss out on him. There's a chance he could be your running back 3 this year in the 3rd round, depending on your draft pick. Slot, he would be an amazing running back 3 for me. Got him right there at 23. Number 24, Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. And right now, I have him 12 spots higher than the consensus. I've said it for weeks. I'm looking for the cup to runneth over. So many people are pointing to the fact that, they're going to do more 2 tight end sets. Okay? You think they're really going to throw Gerald Everett on the field more to take away from Cooper Kupp? I don't see that. Yeah, there may be times, but not all season long, every single game. Cooper Kupp is one of the favorite targets of Jared Goff in the red zone. He can rack up receptions. He can make things happen after the catch. I don't hate Cooper Kupp at all. Number 25, this is where Mike Evans is at. And kind of like we talked about with Chris Godwin, right? How do we know that Mike Evans isn't the guy in Tampa Bay? I mean, we're all just assuming that it's Godwin, but Mike Evans, I could still see him going out there, catching right around 75 balls for right around 1,000 to 1,100 yards and 6 to 8 touchdowns, which is still very, very solid numbers in an offense, which is what? Yep, going to throw the ball a lot. Got Mike Evans at 25. 26, Leonard Fournette. Now, I have him 7 spots higher than the consensus because I like running backs, A, and B, the volume is still going to be there. Are we really, really worried that Chris Thompson is going to take away everything from Leonard Fournette? Chris Thompson, the same Chris Thompson that can't finish a season, that can't stay healthy, that can't play 16 games. We're worried about that Chris Thompson? especially after seeing that Leonard Fournette could definitely handle passing work out of the backfield? Not buying it. I'm still saying the volume's going to be there. Got Leonard Fournette at 26. 27, Aaron Jones. And I have him a lot lower than the consensus, 8 spots lower. And I made a video on Aaron Jones, explaining why I won't draft him here in 2020. The talent is there. I love Aaron Jones. I broke him down last year also and was like, this dude has it. The problem is he has a coach and an organization that doesn't really want to commit to him. And if he loses a lot of those touchdowns that he had last year, which everybody should expect him to do, he could really fall down the ranks, quickly here in 2020. Going to finish the rankings here in just 1 second. But before I do, how excited are you to have live sports back on your TV, right? I mean, I've been watching some NBA games the past couple days. Not exactly the greatest of all time, but it's better than anything we've had on our TVs the past few months. And then I heard about a potential playoff matchup between the Clippers and the Nuggets, and it got me thinking. Manscaping, because one of the most important thing is protecting your Nuggets from your Clippers. So you can head over to manscaped.com right now and check out their Perfect Package 3.0. It's going to come with the Lawnmower 3.0, which is a waterproof cordless body trimmer. You also get some boxer briefs, a nifty little travel bag. So head over to manscaped.com right now. Use the promo code HEADLINERS, all caps at checkout, and you'll get 20% off your order and free shipping right now. So make sure you go and check that out. Listen, the summer months are here. If you're heading outside to work on your tan, the last thing you want is to have it look like you have Teen Wolf in a headlock, all right? Nobody wants to see that, especially here in the summer. That's like a winter thing, all right? Not now in the summer, fellas, but head over to manscaped.com, our sponsors here for the year. Go show them some love. But for now, get back to some rankings. 28 is Allen Robinson. I have him highlighted because I still think a lot of people are underrating Allen Robinson. I have him 5 spots lower, so maybe I'm part of the problem myself, but I still think the targets are going to be there. The one question I have here, who is the quarterback going to be? Is it Trubisky? Is it Foles? We really don't know yet. To be completely honest, if Trubisky is named the starter week 1, Allen Robinson's going to move up these ranks because I know what he did last year with Mitch Trubisky, and the target share is still going to be there. The chemistry is still going to be there, but he's somebody that I'm watching right now, and I'm waiting to find out what happens at that quarterback position. 29, DJ Moore, Carolina Panthers, and this guy could eat underneath this year, right? He's not going to be the type of guy that maybe goes down the field too often, especially with Teddy Bridgewater under center, but he's somebody that could take a 5-yard slant to the house. He can make things happen. He's just going to be reliant on yak yards this year. He's going to have to make those things happen because the average target distance for him probably isn't going to be that huge this season. I still like DJ Moore, got him at 29. 30, Mark Ingram. I have this dude 19 spots higher than the consensus, and I have it that way on purpose. Everybody assumes, once again, that word assumes, that because they drafted J.K. Dobbins, all of a sudden Mark Ingram is just nothing. Mark Ingram was a running back 1 last year for the number 1 running team in the NFL, and I don't see them changing that, especially when really this could be the last year of Mark Ingram in Baltimore. Why would they not just run him into the ground, prep J.K. Dobbins to take over the reins next year in 2021? A lot of people see the rookies, and it's the shiny new toy, right? And there's not a whole lot of sports to talk about this offseason, so everybody's making all the rookies out to be something bigger and better than they really are. I'm still buying Mark Ingram. I got him at 30. Next slide. All right, number 31, Odell Beckham Jr., and just another one of those names that everybody seems to hate. It doesn't matter where I rank him. I could put him in the top 10. I could put him down at 40. People are still going to be pissed off. It doesn't really matter, but in my opinion, Odell Beckham is going to be a steal this year because you're not having to pay that high price on draft day. The targets should be there, the improved offense. He may not see as many targets, but they may be more efficient and more quality targets, which could only help him out. We saw a floor last year, and he still had 1,000 yards, and he wasn't 100% healthy. Now, in the 30s, as possibly your wide receiver 1, maybe you went heavy running back early. You went running back, and then you grab Odell in the 3rd. The risk is minimal, right? I mean, sure, there's some safer options out there, but the potential upside of an Odell Beckham is huge if you want to take that risk. Now, 32 is Adam Thielen, Minnesota Vikings. A lot of people kind of forgetting about Adam Thielen, right? They always want to point to the over 30 thing, and they kind of forget about him last year. Oh, he's injury prone because he had a bad year last year. I mean, think about it. Adam Thielen is somebody who was a top wide receiver not that long ago, and now there's no Stephon Diggs, and we're reliant on a rookie-only opposite of him and Justin Jefferson. Are we worried about Olabisi Johnson? Nope. How about Tajay Sharp? Not that worried either. Adam Thielen is still a very solid wide receiver here in 2020. Got him at 32. 33, James Conner. Another one of these guys that just can't seem to stay healthy. However, whenever he's on the field, produces great fantasy numbers. A lot of this also tied to Big Ben and his health, but James Conner in the 30s is a steal. I have him 8 spots higher than the consensus. He's not somebody who I'm actively trying to make sure I get every draft. But if I can get James Conner as my running back 3 this year, sign me up for it. I'll take that upside all day long. 34, Bobby Trees, Robert Woods. I just did a video on Robert Woods on why he's a must-have for me here this year. Got him 4 spots higher than the consensus. I think this guy is absolutely a safe play for you here in 2020. The volume should be there. There's no more Brandon Cooks. Does he see an increase in targets? Really doesn't need to. He's getting over 130 a year anyway, so sign me up for some Robert Woods. 35, Calvin Ridley. What did I say at close to the beginning of this show? If you're a wide receiver in that division, I love you. So Calvin Ridley, there is some love there, and we started to see a little bit of a little sneak peek of the breakout last year of what Calvin Ridley could do in this type of offense, and having Todd Gurley in the backfield only helps Calvin Ridley because now the defense has to focus a little bit on the running game. I don't think that they were that worried last year with the running game in Atlanta. Whether it was Ito Smith or Devonta Freeman when he was healthy, it didn't really matter. They weren't a threat in the backfield. Todd Gurley is going to be a threat. I love me some Calvin Ridley. Got him at 35. 36, David Johnson, now of the Houston Texans. Another one of these great value guys that you can get as your running back 3 if you want to. If you go heavy running back early and go running back, and David Johnson is your running back 3, your weekly flex start that could go out there and get 20 touches a week. Yes, there's risk involved, but it's minimal at that point of the draft. And there's so much talent at the wide receiver position that you can get in rounds 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to the 10th round. Why not take a stab on David Johnson? I love it right there. Got him at 36. 37. And I put him at 37 for a reason. Is Lamar Jackson. Now, we have said for years that we do not draft quarterbacks early. And we don't. I probably will not own any Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes this year. And it's because you have to draft them so early. I have him at 37 because that would be the first pick of the 4th round. We also always say, though, everybody has value. And Lamar Jackson is a fantasy asset, right? There's just so many quarterbacks that we got to find this year's Lamar Jackson, kind of like Lamar Jackson was last year and Mahomes was the year before that. I mean, that's what we're looking for is the breakout because we get him at a cheaper price. Lamar Jackson isn't going to fall to the 4th round in almost any draft. If he were to fall to the 4th round, I would maybe take a stab at it because, yes, obviously, you know when you get Lamar Jackson, you're getting a quarterback / running back that has that 1,000-yard rushing upside. I get it. I'm not hating on Lamar Jackson whatsoever. He's my number 1 quarterback right now, and if he falls to the 4th, I'll do it. But I'm not going to have any shares of him because I highly guarantee that probably doesn't happen in 99.9% of leagues. But that's kind of where the cutoff is of where I would take Lamar if he were to fall. 38, Terry McLaurin, Washington Redskins. I got him 12 spots higher than the consensus, and it's not all just because of Terry McLaurin. It's because I believe in Dwayne Haskins a little bit. Now, a lot of people want to point to the reports that Alex Smith has been cleared. That is an amazing story of what Alex Smith went through and that nasty leg injury. But let's be realistic. He's not going to be thrown onto an NFL field anytime soon. This is going to be Dwayne Haskins' team here this year in 2020. And the chemistry they have from college together, I love the breakout potential of Terry McLaurin. Got him at 38. 39, Melvin Gordon. Got him 2 spots lower than the consensus. He's kind of up in the air for me. He's not somebody that I want. He's not somebody that I don't want. He's going to get volume, right? The one positive you can say about Melvin Gordon here this year is I think the Denver Broncos are a little underrated as a whole, as a team, and they could be, a lot better than a lot of people want to give them credit for. I can see them having a lot of second half leads this year where they're relying on having to run the ball a little bit more. That's where you could get a lot of the value from Melvin Gordon because Phillip Lindsay is still going to be involved in this backfield. But if they can get those second half leads, that's where Melvin Gordon really helps you out. Got him right here at 39. 40, DK Metcalf. Got him 14 spots higher than the consensus because I love DK Metcalf this year. Just did a video on why he is a must-have wide receiver. Make sure you go check that one out. Also, if you haven't yet, look at the last 10. 41, David Montgomery. Now, I have him a little bit higher than a lot of other people do, right? And we've talked about him before on this channel, and the breakout potential could be there. But what else is there is the volume, right? We're trying to find that volume, and here, into the 4th round, you have a chance at finding a running back that could still touch the ball 250 times in this offense. He showed glimpses last year, right? But couldn't put it all together. A lot of that I put on the coaching of the Chicago Bears. The Matt Nagy offense just didn't look sexy last year. He was really underutilizing David Montgomery a lot. The talent is there. The opportunity should be there this year. Do I love David Montgomery? No. I would not want him to be my running back 1 or running back 2 by any means. But at this point, if he's my running back 3, sign me up for it. I'll take that risk, and all those touches got him at 41. 42, A.J. Brown, Tennessee Titans, and the reason I got him a couple spots lower than everybody else is not so much his talent or opportunity by any means. He was pretty reliant on the deep ball last year, and if I'm seeing that on tape, I guarantee opposing NFL defenses are seeing that on tape, and it would not surprise me to see more safeties over the top, more double teams on A.J. Brown, forcing them to beat them another way. Got him dropped down a couple spots, still like A.J. Brown, though, got him at 42. 43, Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary is another one of these guys that if he can approach 200 to 215 touches total this year, could be another version of this year's Aaron Jones. I'm sick and tired of the arguments of Zach Moss. Yeah, sure, Zach Moss is going to touch the ball some, and he'll probably get some of the goal line work. But Devin Singletary is so efficient that he can make things happen with less touches. He doesn't need 300 touches. Get this guy 200 to 215, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Got him at 43. 44 is where the free-falling Amari Cooper landed, and I said this in a video when I talked about my wide receiver rankings. I made a video on why I will not draft Amari Cooper. It doesn't do me any good to then turn around and rank him where everybody else is ranked, because then the video that I made means nothing. I truly don't want a whole lot to do with Amari Cooper this year. If he falls this late in drafts, all right, maybe I'll think about it. That's different. Like I said, everybody has a value, except Ronald Jones and Funchess. So there's a limit, right? There's a cutoff for me. Amari Cooper, right here, 44, is where I would feel comfortable. I'm just worried that Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb and even Ezekiel Elliott are so involved in this offense also that he's a little bit more boom or bust, inconsistent. And that worries me because he's inconsistent anyway. Now his touches or targets may be inconsistent. It just raises a lot of red flags for me. That's why I got him so low. 45 is Zach Ertz, tight end, Philadelphia Eagles. Another guy heavily involved in this offense. We love Jalen Reagor, the rookie wide receiver, but what about outside of that? We have Deshaun Jackson, possibly. We have Alshon Jeffrey, may not be 100% healthy. We have J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Do we want to trust him? There's going to be a lot of Jalen Reagor, a lot of Dallas Goedert, and a lot of Zach Ertz. I mean, he's not going anywhere. He's still a main piece of this offense, and we know Carson Wentz is going to look for him. Got him at 45. 46, the rookie running back Jonathan Taylor. And I've mentioned him in videos past also. I love what this guy could be down the stretch. He could be a league winner for your team because you're getting him as your running back 3. More than likely, he's your running back 3, and there's less risk there. You don't have to start him to start the season. I think he starts the season off slow because Mack is going to be more involved. Naheem Hines is going to be involved. But come mid-season, this dude's going to take the reins and be a beast down the stretch, and you don't have to worry about him killing your team the first couple of weeks because you'll have other options there on the bench. Got him at 46. 47 is his teammate, T.Y. Hilton there in Indianapolis, and T.Y. is going to slide right into what that Keenan Allen spot was for Phillip Rivers. It's going to be his favorite target in this offense. I got him 12 spots higher than the consensus, and when I did my rankings, nobody likes T.Y. Hilton anymore. I don't understand why. Yes, he's had some injury concerns in the past, but in a year like this, T.Y. could eat up some volume because you have Paris Campbell there, an unproven second-year wide receiver. You have a rookie wide receiver in Michael Pittman that a lot of people want to assume things about. To me, T.Y. Hilton is the safest option in the passing offense there for the Colts. Are they going to have to throw the ball every quarter of every game? No, because they're a pretty good football team overall. But T.Y. Hilton has that big playability and can eat up the targets underneath. I got him at 47 overall. 48, the guy that I just talked about next to him, right? Keenan Allen of the Los Angeles Chargers. He's going off on Twitter lately, talking about how he is the best receiver in that division, and he ain't going to hear it from nobody. He even tagged some poor dude on Twitter that doesn't even play football. He tagged a Chris Goodwin instead of Chris Godwin. That poor Chris Goodwin probably out there mowing his lawn, wondering why his Twitter's blowing up from one Keenan Allen. But he's very high on himself, and I get it. He is the best wide receiver on his team. Who's his quarterback? Is it Tyrod Taylor? Is it Justin Herbert? Does it matter is the other question, because I still think that he sees the bulk of the targets in that offense outside of Austin Eckler. Mike Williams, more of a deep threat, down the field type threat. I think Keenan Allen still eats up the underneath plays, though. He's a great route runner. Got him at 48. 49, here's my second quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. 24 spots lower than the consensus. But similar to Lamar, right? Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks in football. I'm not saying that he's not. But at some point, I'll take him. And right here, for me, it's the 5th round. If he's sitting there in the 5th round, I'll take Patrick Mahomes. That's why he's sitting at 49. Otherwise, load me up on some running backs, on some wide receivers. More times than not, he's probably not going to be sitting there in the 5th round. So I probably won't own too much Patrick Mahomes this year, but this is where he would slide in if he was there available to me. Number 50, his teammate, his running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And I have him 15 spots lower than the consensus, and to be completely honest, he's falling right now. He is trending down because Damian Williams is going to be a part of this backfield. We've been saying that from the beginning. Stop writing off Damian Williams. He's going to be a part of this backfield. Now, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the future. He's going to take the reins at some point. However, to start this season, he's got a tough schedule and a tough offseason where they didn't really have a whole lot of time together. He could struggle out of the gates. Let somebody else draft him early with his earlier ADP, and then you scoop in, 4, 5, 6 weeks into the season, make a trade offer for him, and then you let somebody else pay that high draft price. You stole him a few weeks later for a fraction of the price, and then second half of the season where we can really see him take off, that's where I like to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire's second half of the season, not so much to start the year. But those are my top 50 there right there, and I'm sure you disagree on a few spots, and that's okay. That's the purpose of this video. If you agreed with me 100% of the time, why would you be watching anybody else's videos? It's to gain perspective, right? That is the purpose of rankings videos, not so we all agree. So stop trying to say, I don't know why you do that. I would do this. Cool. That's the purpose of it, is to just say, hey, this is how I see things. Maybe you see things differently. Share those opinions down below in the comment section. We always like to go back and forth and be respectful to each other. I can't tell you that your rankings are wrong. Why? The season hasn't happened yet. You can't tell me that my rankings are wrong. Why? The season hasn't happened yet, but what we can do is work together as a team to come up with the best possible rankings so we all benefit from it. That's what it's all about, and that's what we're looking forward to doing here in 2020. So hopefully you enjoyed the content. Hit that like button down below. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel because we are jam-packed full of content here for 2020. We greatly appreciate you guys. Hopefully you have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you later.